you get a wink from Robin, you get to be her slave. Oh, do tell. So I'm almost fully convinced at this point that Bartolomeo is going to be the next Straw Hat Pirate, and only because of how useful he was in this week's chapter, especially when he saved Robin this week, in a scene that I thought looked really cool, especially just the fact that she was using her arms as staircases trying to escape. I thought that was really clever, and it was a good way to get away from frickin' Gladius, because he's blowing up everything. That guy's crazy, and his powers are absolutely insane. This whole chapter was insane. It was just a lot of people fighting, and Bartolomeo and Cavendish bitching at each other, which honestly is pretty funny. It kind of reminds me when Sanji and Zoro are bickering with each other. But what I really loved about this chapter was just getting to see the other side of Cavendish come out at the very end, which I thought was a really pleasant surprise because that was something that was only teased when he fought his one time in Kurita Coliseum, and I'm glad they're finally bringing that back to the forefront because it just came out of nowhere, and it was a really great scene to follow because it followed the scene where Dellinger just went insane and showed off more of his fighting fish abilities when he was fighting against Ideo of the Long Arm tribe, and he ripped off his hat, and then he just like bit on his shoulder and just ripped into pieces like a shark. It was really disturbing and creepy, and then suddenly Cavendish just comes in and cuts him from behind, seemingly ending the battle with his creepy demon-like smile. It looks really awesome, and it's scenes like this that are allowing me to appreciate the One Piece manga all the bit more. I still prefer the anime version, but still, this was pretty freaking awesome. And of course, this was just a big action-packed chapter, Gladius blowing up everything in his wake. A little bit of action at the very beginning of the chapter was also pretty surprising. And the scene at the beginning of the chapter was also really awesome, with Kyros fighting against Diamante, with him constantly making the ground move, and I really loved that one move where Diamante suddenly started to attack Rebecca, and even with only one leg, this guy hops all the way over to Rebecca and manages to deflect this attack. Kyros is a bad motherfucker, and I really hope that he becomes the king of Dressrosa after all of this is over. It would just make a perfect way to end this arc. Otherwise, this was just a really exciting chapter. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of One Piece? A lot of action. And that's really awesome. You know, it's not even focusing on, like, the big main characters yet, either. It's really just all of the side characters from Kurita Coliseum and the ones which have been introduced in Dressrosa arc, but I really love it. Diamante himself at the very beginning of the chapter is totally grooving on his battle against Kyros, and he's really getting off on it, and you can tell he's having a great time. And it's really underhanded and dirty that he's attacking Rebecca, but again, that just makes him seem all the more evil and will make his defeat all the more satisfying. But right after that, they immediately just kick it up with even more battles. Bartolomeo and Cavendish bickering with each other. Gladius blowing up everything, not even caring about his subordinates, is really creepy. And just his overall powers, I'm still not even sure how they work, how he constantly blows himself up and how he's able to survive. Although, if there's one thing I've learned while reading and watching One Piece is do not question Devil Fruit powers. They just work because that's just how they work. And then that little bit at the very end, after Dellinger had just literally bitten into Ideo when Cavendish came in and just slashed into him, was really awesome and very ominous, and one of the coolest scenes that I've seen so far in Dressrosa, honestly. And I can't wait to see more of what his evil side is like, because it seems pretty freaking indestructible and crazy, and if it's anything like Kurita Coliseum, he won't stop until everyone on the battlefield is seemingly defeated. So, exciting action chapter. Even though it didn't even feature the main characters, I think this one was still definitely worth checking out, if only to see all of the cool action scenes and the creepiness from the Don Quixote family. The artwork was good, there was lots of explosions and punches thrown and all types of ridiculous attacks, and the evilness of Cavendish and the hilariousness of frickin' Bartolomeo and Robin. That scene's great. He's already got a hard-on for the Straw Hat Pirates as is, but when you got Nico Robin there, you gotta admit, you gotta get a little weak in the knees. And Bartolomeo definitely showed it. That panel where he freaked out was absolutely hilarious. I now definitely want Bartolomeo to be a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, if only just to see more of his ridiculous reactions, and just his powers are really useful and very helpful. And I love the fact that they're doing more with them, like in this one it actually took the form of a paddle. I just thought that was very funny and creative. So this was a really great chapter right here. Check it out, fans of One Piece, for all of the crazy action and all the funny moments, and also that really awesome moment with Cavendish at the very end. I thought this was a really solid chapter, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I have no complaints with it whatsoever. If I did have a nitpicky complaint, it's that why am I not getting a Zoro fight? Why am I not getting a Luffy fight? But at least we're getting a lot of action in the meantime, and that's what I really liked about it. Check it out, guys. Really cool stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. And before you go, please tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of One Piece. Did you have a favorite action scene? What did you think of Cavendish going all evil and crazy at the very end? And what do you want to see from the rest of the Dressrosa arc? Remember, guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, you can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.